Good morning, everyone. It's good to see everyone. I am wanting to call the May 26th meeting of the Nsdp to order. First item on our agenda is approval of the minutes from April 28th. I'd like to entertain a motion to do so.
So moved.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second, will there be a roll call?
We had not planned a roll call. It's been moved, and I think that
we have a quorum?
we do have a quorum.
All right, awesome.
Yes, yes. Who made the second, please?
Board Member Michael Cole, second.
Sorry, I'm not understanding. Didn't hear. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. The moved and seconded to approve the April 28th minutes. Those in favor signify by aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. The minutes have been approved. The next item on the agenda is discussion items, and it appears we don't have anything in that particular slot. So we'll move into action items number 4 on the agenda. Alex?
Good morning, everybody. So I have my team presenting virtually today, so I'll let them go ahead and get queued up on item number 4.01, which is going to be award of a general contract to McDaniels Construction. But I also just want to kind of provide some, again, background context for where we are right now. So I feel like we're definitely in this season of pivot. So if we've spent the past couple of months talking about facility master plan, now we're very much pivoting back to life cycle renewal, and I think you're going to probably see this as a repeating theme probably for the duration of the time that we continue to meet, because I think that is really the right story behind how we manage facilities. It is both a combination of looking at comprehensively renovating and building new facilities, and also getting in this practice of taking care of our existing buildings. And so as many of you probably know, the board has indicated that they intend to proceed with a levy this fall. It will include 2 components, which are a bond issue for that new construction. It will also contain a significant investment in what we call life cycle renewals. And so it's this ongoing care and maintenance of our facilities to make sure they stay in good condition. And so item 4.01 is very much one of those. So this is a project that we have been looking at for a couple months. So one of the things that we did just kind of leading up to thinking about this whole concept of life cycle renewal is to have a design firm come in and do an analysis of one of our 1970s facilities, which in this case is Independence High School, and give us their lens, their feedback on what sorts of improvements we should be thinking about in this particular facility in terms of making sure that we keep it operating safe for our students. And so the recommendation here is to replace the fire doors in this particular facility. So I think there are 54 fire doors in this building. So it's a relatively large building. It has multiple staircases. It also has compartmentalization. So different buildings use different types of systems to ensure fire safety. This particular building has a series of cross-corridor fire doors that are intended to compartmentalize the building in the event of a fire so that we don't see both fire and smoke move throughout the building, which then gives our occupants plenty of time to evacuate safely. So with that, I will turn it over to my team for that item 4.01, and they'll kind of give you the technical background on how we arrived at this contract.
Hello, everyone. I am Brandy Bronston Howe. Just as Alex noted, this is for the fire doors at Independence High School. They are beyond their anticipated useful life and are recommended for replacement. This package will replace 54 fire doors throughout the entire building. All the fire doors are original to the building and are made of wood. Through Equalis, a national cooperative purchasing organization, the district has access to job order contract process with McDaniels Construction. Through the job order process, projects are scoped with the assistance of the vendor and the district staff at a fixed price. Proposal prepared based upon the agreed upon scope. So I will go through my presentation. Attached is the proposal for a fixed price of $324,382.86. This is the second page. This is the legislation. Again, the price is noted on legislation. A little bit of a background that I just went through. LEDE Form A. McDaniels is a LEDE contractor, and the LEDE Form A is signed by Terry Wise. And that is the end of the presentation. Are there any questions?
No.
We have no questions, Brandy. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Seeing that there's no questions, entertain a motion to approve project 23014.
So moved.
There's a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, great. We then moving to second.
Do you know who the second?
I don't.
I got Mr. Lichty, but I didn't catch the other.
That's Jeff Mormon.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. Folks that are attending virtually, if you make a motion or second, could you please state your name while you do so, please, so we know? Moved and seconded to approve project 23014. Those in favor? Aye.
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 Those opposed? Project has been approved. Thank you.
All right, that takes us to item 4.02, and if 4.01 is important, it's a little hard to get too excited around replacing the fire doors in the facility, as important as it is that they function well. I'm actually quite a bit more excited about what you're going to see in item 4.02. So leading up to this concept of asking our voters to approve a significant permanent improvement levy so that we can really start to build a plan around these life cycle renewals, working with the administration and the board, we were able to secure a one-time $30 million investment to be able to kind of launch this work for next summer. So we're calling these our FY23, Summer 2023 projects. And they really are, they are our opportunity as a district staff to figure out how to make these projects as successful as possible, how to plan these projects, how to execute these projects, knowing that what we're ultimately building up to is about $50 million in annual investment of making these same kinds of investments. So I'll ask for your patience in advance. Since all the money kind of dropped into place at one time, and we are definitely scrambling a little bit with the market right now in terms of trying to get projects out the door as quickly as possible, we issued an 11-part request for qualifications at the same time. And so what you see in front of you are 11 individual professional services contracts to launch a whole variety of different life cycle renewals across our entire district. And so I'm going to let each project manager, we're going to kind of cycle through my different project managers. They're going to talk you through what we're going to complete under each of these contracts. Just understand that they are all funded from the same source. So they are all part of our permanent improvement levy. They are all qualifications-based selections, so these are all professional consultants. Everything is based on selecting that consultant that we determined to have the highest qualifications. So we issued one advertisement, one document with requests for qualifications, but we line itemed out exactly what it was we were looking for in each of these contracts. In all cases, we received requests for qualification statements. We shortlisted and then interviewed those firms, and that I'll let my project managers give you the individual detail on each of them.
Good morning again. This is Brandy Bronston-Howe. For action item 4.2, as Alex noted, it's 11 consultants. All consultants are listed in one presentation, so we will have you guys vote on them at the end of everyone's presentation. So I will go through the items that are the same for each of the projects, which included the advertisements, the RFQ and sign-in sheet, the informational meeting agenda, and the working contracts, and then the project managers will go through the individual ones. So here's a copy of the advertisements that went in the dispatch and the Ohio MBE. Second one, we have the request for qualifications with all 11 items listed and when they were due, and it has the virtual Zoom informational meeting listed as well. Here is the RFQ, the informational meeting agenda. And we had a pretty good turnout. Here is the sign-in sheet. And these are the working contracts for 23001, 23003. Those will be criteria architect and engineer contracts. And 23002, 23004 through 23011 are the general professional consultant agreements for architects and engineers. And I will go ahead and let Kurt take over, and he will be discussing HVAC improvements, project 23001.
All right, thank you, Brandy. Good morning, everybody. So as Alex and Brandy stated, this is the first project here. It's 23001 HVAC improvements package. This is for a criteria engineer. And as Alex stated, this is to address some of our HVAC equipment that is beyond its useful life throughout the district. We published the budget at $2 to $2.5 million. This will be a design build, hence why we need the criteria engineer. And we have 4 sites identified at this time: Seabird Elementary, Woodcrest Elementary, Northland High School, and Girls Prep. And as we progress through the prioritization, we'll hopefully add a few more sites to that. So there's just a little overview of what we expect from that. And then we'll go on to the next slide here. So up next is the statement of qualifications and the short list letters. And next we have our score sheet and our regrets and congrats letter with M Consultants and Engineering being the selected firm. So here we have the legislation, the dollar amount for the contract, $110,000. And then we have our LEDE forms signed by Terry Wise there. And that should bring us to any questions that the group may have.
Hey, Kurt, good morning.
Yes.
Thank you for going through that. When we looked at this at the Technical Oversight Committee, it was necessary to make clear that the score sheet, how the numbers are in terms of if the group with the highest number is not the one that actually gets the bid, right?
Correct. Yes, that is your selection number. So 1 being the one you like the most, 2 being the one you like the least. So yes, that is why that is that way.
Okay, great. Just wanted to point that out as we go through the list.
Right. Yep. Good point.
Does anyone have any questions of Kurt? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, and you get to stick with me for 2 more projects here. So the next one here is a building envelope package 23003. This is also going to be a design build with a budget of 1.5 and 1.6, and this is for the criteria architect. So again, this is to address some issues on some building envelope that we have. We have identified 3 sites at this point. We have Hiltonia, Centennial High School, and West High School. And so we're hoping to be able to add maybe 1 or 2 other sites as we progress through that criteria design. So we'll go on to the next sheet here. So here we have the statement of qualifications, the RFQ scoring, and the short list selection. And again, we have the score sheet and the regrets and congrats letters with it's ES Architecture, but they pronounce it S Architecture, being the selected firm. And here we have the legislation with the contract amount of $120,000 with our LEDE forms signed by Terry. And that should bring us to any questions that the group may have.
Have none?
Great, thank you. right, and on to the next one. So this is our outdoor athletic package, 23005. This will be a design bid build with a budget of 3.1 to 3.4, and we are looking for an AOR, architect of record, for this project. Currently, we have two sites selected, Walnut Ridge High School and Centennial High School, where we will be addressing one baseball field, one softball field, one grandstand, press box, one lighting upgrade, and some stadium fencing and upgrades or replacements. So we've got those two sites selected right now. We'll go on to the next slide here. So we have the statement of qualifications, the RFQ scoring, and the shortlist selection. And then we have our score sheet and our congrats letter with Benke Architects being the selected firm. With the contract, this is the legislation, the contract amount is for $248,000. And then we have our LEDE form signed by Terry. And that should bring us to any questions.
None, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
It is Brandy Bronston-Haupt again. I am standing in for Lori Seeger. So I will be going over three of her projects for 23002 for roof replacement, 23009 for security vestibule upgrades, and 23010 for fire alarm upgrades. So 23002, this project is for roof replacements. This project will consist of replacing the roof on 4 or more district facilities. Projects will need to pay particular attention to continuity of operations of the facility and the current supply chain issues in the materials market. The anticipated project budget is 2 to 2.5 million. The lead firm will be a licensed architect. Here we have the SOQ, the RFQ submission scoring rubric, and the shortlist selection letter. Next, we have the interview score sheet and the regrets and congrats letter, and this went to S Architecture and Design Development Incorporated. We have legislation next in the amount of $225,000 and the LEDE Form A signed by Terry Wise. Do we have any questions?
No, ma'am. No questions from here.
Alrighty. So I will move on to project number 23009. That is for security vestibules. This project will consist of studying 7 existing district academic facilities that do not presently have a security vestibule as part of their visitor management system. This budget is $600,000 to $700,000. It is design bid build, and the lead consultant will be a licensed architect. Next, we have the SOQ, the RFQ submission scoring rubric, and the shortlist selection letter. Next, we have the interview score sheet and the regrets and congrats letter. This one going to Legat Architects Incorporated. Next, we have the legislation noting a amount of $69,825 in LEDE Form A, signed by Terry Wise. Legat has a 20% LEDE goal, and they plan to utilize core services for estimating and engineering services to meet their LEDE goal. Do we have any questions?
No questions, Brandy. Thank you.
One comment I'll throw at this one, because I assume that it's going to come up at some point, given in light of what's occurred this week with unfortunately a school shooting down in Texas. But so through our Operation Fix It bond issue package, we were able to install a security vestibule at nearly every one of those legacy facilities. Most of our facility master plan buildings were designed with a secure vestibule, but there are 7 of them that do not. And so this project is specifically looking at those 7 facilities. And I do not want to say that we know we can install a security vestibule at all 7 of them. Some of them, the configuration of the buildings might make that quite a challenge, but that is certainly the goal.
Well, in light of the issues that have been happening, not just this week, but for a while, this is paramount that we really take the time to do this. So thank you for the work on this. Thanks, Brandy. That's it for us.
Okay, I will move on to the next one, which is project number 23010, fire alarm upgrades. This project will consist of making fire alarm upgrades at 4 academic facilities with existing systems that are at the end of their anticipated useful life. Existing systems are operational but do not comply with the current requirements for voice enunciation and will be expected to have that capacity after upgrades. The anticipated project budget is $440,000 to $480,000, and the lead firm will be a licensed engineer. Next, we have the SOQ, the RFQ submission scoring rubric, and the shortlist selection letter. Next, we have the interview score sheet and the regrets and congrats letter. This project going to Verigy. Next, we have the legislation noting a amount of $50,500, and we have LEDE Forms A signed by Terry Wise. And do we have any questions?
No, ma'am, I think we're good. Thank you.
Okay, I will hand it over to Ansley Stevenson next. She will be presenting items 23004, playground and site improvements, and 23008, model classroom pilot program.
Thanks, Brandy. The first project I'm going to go through is our playground and site improvements upgrade package 23004. This is an exciting project for us. I don't know if you guys have been in the playground areas of any of our elementary schools, but we've never done a whole scale playground replacement. It usually comes with a building replacement. So this project is going to look at 8 sites for replacing the existing sites. And we're also going to look at 5 additional sites that have a pre-K program, but do not have a pre-K playground. Typically at our FMP buildings, we would add a pre-K set if they have that program, but especially our legacy buildings that have had those programs added later on don't have those sets to accommodate those students. Right now, the 8 sites we're looking at for replacements were prioritized based on the age of the existing set. So these sets are 23 to 30 years old, the oldest in the district. Those 8 sites would be Alpine, Como, Berwick, Duxbury Park, East Haven, East Columbus, Scottwood, and Windsor STEM. A couple of those buildings are newer buildings, but they did not have the sites replaced at the time of the new building construction. We are then looking at 5 sites for those new pre-K sites. That's going to be Mays, Valley Forge, Broadley, East Haven, and Northtown. When we put out the RFQ, our estimated budget was $2 to $2.5 million, and we were looking for a licensed landscape architect. This next sheet is the SOQ we received from Triad Architects, as well as the shortlist selection letter. We only received qualifications from 2 firms for this one, so we did not have the RFQ submission scoring rubric. This shows our interview score sheets and the regrets and congrats letter. This one went to Triad Architects. They were everyone's #1 pick. This is our legislation showing their fee of $222,250, along with their LEDE Form A. They have a 20% goal, and they're going to utilize OA Spencer Incorporated for some technical architectural assistance to meet that goal. Any questions?
None, Ansley, thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to my last project, which is the Model Classroom Pilot Project 23008. This is another one, a new area of exploration for us. Really looking at, with FMP coming down the pike for us, what does a model classroom in our district look like? Looking at our strategic priorities and our portrait of a graduate, We've partnered with an architecture firm to try to take those ideas and see what that does to the built environment. So very exciting project for us. The RFQ called out at least 4 sites that we're hoping to do this at. We have not identified those sites yet. We're working with our academics team and our transformation leadership team, along with our architect, to understand what the project is. And then as we move through that design process, we'll start to identify sites that will get this upgrade. When we sent out the RFQ, we said this will be a design bid build project with an estimated budget of $900,000 to $1 million. And as I said, we're looking for a licensed architect. We did get quite amount of qualifications for this project. So here we have the SOQ from SPGB Architects shown at the bottom and our shortlist selection letter. We ended up selecting Design Group, Fanning Howie, and SPGB from the shortlist of, I believe, 9 firms that submitted on this project. This next shows our interview score sheet and our regrets and congrats letter. You can see SPGB was our #1 selection for all 3 interviewers. This is their legislation for a fee of $75,000 and their LEDE Form A. They have a 25% LEDE goal, which they will be utilizing advanced engineering consultants for all their MEP engineering. Any questions on that one?
We have none. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
And finally, we will have Linda Ergerson presenting next. She will be presenting 23006 outdoor athletics, 23007 auditorium and gymnasium upgrades, and 23011 loose furnishings renewal program. I will hand it over to Linda.
Good morning. How is everyone today? Today I'll be presenting the outdoor athletics package. This package will be to replace 2 tracks and 2 tennis courts. We are currently in the process of selecting those locations that we will do the work. We will be working with our athletics team and staff to determine the best locations for games and meets. This project is design bid build, and it is $1.2 million to $1.4 million. Next, we have our statement of qualifications, our scoring rubric, and you can see Benke was selected for this project. Our interview score sheet, and our regrets and congrats letters. Legislation for the project at $112,500, and the 20% commitment to LEDE approved by Terry Weiss. Do we have any questions?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have our auditorium and gymnasium upgrades package. This will consist of 2 auditoriums and 2 gymnasiums. We'll be looking at new seating, aisle flooring, upgrading audio and visual and theater and lighting systems, potentially looking at new retractable bleacher seating, new basketball backstops, new dividing curtains, new scoreboards, new protective mats, newer refinished gymnasium floors. All of these items are not a certainty. They'll be evaluated by our architects based on the site selections. We have a number of candidates and limited money to do this project with, so there'll have to be a careful search process that we'll be working with our academic team and athletics team to look at what the best sites are. This project is $1.5 million to $1.7 million. This is our scoring rubric and our statement of qualifications and the shortlist letter. Next, our interview score sheet. And our legislation for $153,000 in the LEDs contract signed by, with a 20% commitment signed by Terry Weiss. And this project is awarded to Fanning and Howie. Any questions?
Yeah, we have none. Thanks.
Thank you. Lastly, we have our loose furnishings renewal program, and this will, this is a effort to categorize our academic furnishings and identify and prioritize our needs throughout the district. We would like to create a process for tracking and determining what future purchases need to look like, developing bid specifications for procurement, developing a schedule to receive and set furnishings. This is a design bid build project at $1,150,000. There's a statement of qualifications, our shortlist selection letter, our interview score sheet, regrets and congrats letters, legislation, and at $112,000 awarded to Triad Architects, and our LEDE at 20% commitment approved by Terry Weiss. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Guys, as was noted, we are going to vote on these items collectively, known as Project 23001 through 230, oh, I got the wrong number though, 11, I'm sorry.
23011, correct.
Yeah. Okay. So before we entertain a motion, is there any discussion or questions on the items? With that,
This is Jeff Mormon. Sorry, this is Jeff Mormon. I'm gonna abstain from the vote because of work that we do with Triad. So, other than that, I'm good.
Okay, thanks, Jeff, for that notice. Entertain a motion to approve Project 23001 through 23011.
So moved.
Moved, second?
Autumn, second.
Thank you, ma'am. It's been moved and seconded to approve the project. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Thank you. And thanks to the staff for taking time to go through these items. I know it was pretty lengthy, and we appreciate what you guys do. With that, that's the end of action items. I'd like to ask Alex if he had any additional comments.
Yeah, just a few comments and maybe some kind of housekeeping notes going forward. So number one, if hopefully you hear kind of the excitement in my team's voices around some of these upcoming life cycle renewal projects. I mean, some of them are still pretty nuts and bolts, but some of them really give us some nice opportunities to engage not only with our staff, but with our students. And so we're certainly intending to leverage every opportunity we can get to work with our teams to make sure we're getting the best possible solutions. Also really pleased with the response from our vendor community. We like to be popular and to be front and center for some of our best firms in town looking for work. So also really pleased with that. Just know that some of these projects we will likely bring some progress updates to this committee as well, rather than just the contracting side of things. So especially projects like that model classroom, I'm expecting that we're going to have some very lively conversations with our teams. And so hopefully we can bring some of that work here as well. So you can see the groundwork we're laying for that facility master plan work like Ansley was indicating. One thing I do want to also bring to your attention totally separately. So I don't think it's any surprise, but it's been a very challenging bid environment. So we have one contract that we made a last-ditch effort to get under contract. We've had 2 unsuccessful bids for a flooring replacement program for our Brookhaven facility, which is the home for Global Academy and Columbus North International. The first 2 bids were either overbid or we didn't get bids. So we put together yet another standalone package. We tried to simplify it. I don't know that I feel better than a 50-50 shot that we're going to get a successful bid on Monday. But in the event that we do get a successful bid, our intention is to take it to board as quickly as we possibly can, because the intent is to get it done this summer. Obviously, so we need successful bids, number one, and then we need a vendor to be able to tell us that they have both the materials and the labor to get the work done this summer, which are some very big ifs. But if we can get to that point, our intention is to take that contract to board and to get that work done this summer, which is not going to allow us to bring it through this committee during its kind of normal flow of approvals. I'm expecting that contract is going to be in about the $500,000 range. So it's not an insignificant contract, but it is very important that we try to get it done sequenced with all the other work that we have planned for that facility already this summer. I don't know if there's any questions or comments on that. The only other thing I wanted to put out there is that, so our Board of Education typically does not meet in the month of July. And so our Nsdp cadence would typically be that we meet in June to take items to what would be a July board meeting that's not going to exist. At this point, I don't have any action items. I don't have anything that I think would require us to meet. So I think it's very likely that we would cancel our June Nsdp meeting, but I'd rather wait a couple of weeks just to make sure there's nothing that comes up that we're not seeing right now that would require us to meet. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. On the flip side, we do have a couple projects, notably our school-based health clinics, as well as potentially a few of these life cycle renewal projects that we may try to get bid in time for an August board meeting. So it is very likely that we will have a July meeting on that 4th Thursday of the month of July. So I just wanted to make sure I put the plug in for both of those items.
Thanks, Alex, for the heads up on the meetings. Very important. It appears that we don't have any other items on the agenda for discussion, but I always like to provide an opportunity for the members of the board or the administration to make any comments whatsoever. Feel free to do so if you want to speak.
Good morning to all of you. This is Eric Brown.
Good morning, sir.
Just wanted to, there are a lot of projects underway or getting started. I'm excited about that. And now that we have the opportunity to secure funding for building, as you mentioned earlier, and we've got 5 new school buildings planned for this next phase. It's just a very exciting time to be involved with Columbus City Schools, and I want to thank you all for your good work on these projects. Alex, your staff does great work. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Good morning, all. This is Board Member Michael Cole. I just wanted to thank you all for your work and commitment to our facilities master plan and all the great work we're trying to accomplish on behalf of our children and their outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Appreciate it much. Seeing that there's no other items, I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved. Second? Second. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.